When someone stares at me, I'm afraid they might find out that I'm a reporter and report me to the military council.
I could have taken pictures by pretending to be a resident, but 2 soldiers were sitting on a bench nearby. So I had to wait for a crowd to come and watch the rescue scene before I could blend in.
The Myanmar earthquake brought massive death and destruction. 2 weeks have passed and the full extent is still unknown. The government's heavy restrictions on press freedom mean that fresh and reliable information about the recovery is hard to come by. Hello and welcome to Doh Athan, a podcast about human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fundación Hirondelle. To show the obstacles faced by Burmese journalists on the job, this episode presents the audio journals of 2 freelance reporters working in the field in central Myanmar. Some names may have been changed to protect contributors. Ko Min Maung is reporting from Mandalay.
When I see people who are sleeping on the streets next to the Mandalay moat or in the fields, I want to photograph them, but I can't. I mean, news gathering's not officially prohibited, but there are guards watching for any suspicious activities. If the police call me over and ask where I'm from, what I'm doing, I need to be prepared with a good story. If they don't like something I say and decide to arrest me, there's nothing I can do about it. These are only some of the reasons why I can't take photos and ask questions, even though I want to.
Mandalay is one of the cities hardest hit by the earthquake, with over 1,800 dead and over 200 missing, according to NUG data from the 6th of April. It is also one of 6 regions the government declared an emergency area.
Even though I'm here to cover the aftermath of the earthquake, I'm not able to gather news openly. When I talk to people, I have to be very careful and consider the security of the location and the situation. I can't just chat with people at the tea shop. I can't talk to people in places where anyone will hear our conversations. My sources for reporting are very limited.
At the site of the collapsed Sky Villa condo, Ko Min Maung ran into obstacles common for many reporters on the job in Myanmar.
I wanted to take photos, but wasn't able to get close. I could have taken pictures by pretending to be a resident, but 2 soldiers were sitting on a bench nearby. So I had to wait for a crowd to come and watch the rescue scene before I could blend in. Some residents were casting live feeds on social media.
In some parts of Mandalay, government security at collapsed buildings presents an additional obstacle.
Right now, sleeping in Mandalay means sleeping outside, on the street, not indoors. This means new dangers and limits to my work, since I have to sleep next to strangers on the streets. Even when I have deadlines, I have to wait until late at night to write when everyone is asleep. I never know who the person is next to me. And then there's the internet reception, which is bad in normal times, and now even less reliable.
Despite the challenges, he has still managed to conduct interviews and gather news. In Naypyidaw, the situation is more complex and more sensitive. Reporter Nora faces similar obstacles, but she needs to get information from government personnel in the capital city.
I have been talking to government workers sleeping in tents in the Kankor housing estate. I can never say that I'm working for news media, so I casually ask how they are and how things are going. But even in casual conversation, they are afraid to answer my questions. Sometimes they respond by asking where I am from and why I'm asking. Someone told me, oh, our superiors said if anyone asks questions like this, we should report it to them. That's the situation I experienced.
Not all reporters and news organizations face the same situation. Those with permission from the ruling State Administration Council, or SAC, are able to gather news freely. Some are directly operated by the SAC, and others are licensed. But many people are afraid to speak to authorized media, even government officials.
Most
government personnel had poor relations with media even before the coup. After the coup, the relations deteriorated along with the political situation. I had expected it to be difficult to interview officials under these conditions, but it is sad to see now that even they are afraid to speak the truth.
The residents of the government housing she visited do discuss serious humanitarian needs on social media, but they would never have the same conversation with a reporter.
I
visited this ministry and talked to a female official who assumed that I was just a resident. I didn't introduce myself as a reporter. I asked about her needs. She told me about the medicine and all the other things she needed. She said the electricity supply was even less reliable than usual. They're looking for donors to buy supplies. She spoke at length about her emotions. She openly shared all of this. But when I told her that I was from the media, she completely closed herself off.
Later, Nora visited a large public hospital in Zabutiri Township with 1,000 beds.
I
never introduced myself as a journalist because first I need to figure out whether they are brave enough to talk to a reporter. It is also important for my own safety. I always have to choose my words very carefully if I want to find information about a situation. I know that it is important to bring the public reliable information. This is why I continue to get the news, even though I myself don't feel safe. When someone stares at me, I'm afraid they might find out that I'm a reporter and report me to the military council. It is a strange situation where I am. Even though I'm a reporter, I can't fully report the story. All I can gather is what I see and what I hear without being able to push further. For example, there are doctors and nurses who are treating people here. But I'm not able to ask them about their needs, and I can't listen to the voices of the injured. I'm unable to gather perspectives from all sides of the story. I believe that, as a journalist, working in secret means that we never have access to the full story.
And in a rare case of good news, Nora went to the rescue site of a collapsed hotel in Uttaratiri Township.
I could not see any news reporters, but I could see a person from the media and the military council. Normally in this situation, the procedure is to interview people, including the rescuer and a responsible official. However, as we know, I was not able to do that. Before the coup, in a situation like this, we would report live on the scene. Now, wherever I look, in places where we should be gathering the news, it is heart-wrenching to see that there is no news reporter to be found.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Doh Athan. We would welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fundación Hirondelle, with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcasts via the Doh Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Telegram, and Instagram. Please tune in again for our next episode.